All right. Okay. So let's talk about why we're here today.
Well, we're here at Transpac, the Shack, which is our race headquarters for the 50th anniversary Golden Trans-Pacific Yacht Race, a 2,225 nautical mile race. We've got started with 90 starters, and we're down to 82 because we've had, unfortunately, quite a few withdrawals. Most of them due to rudder damage and one mast damage, but unfortunately we had a couple incidents last night we want to brief the community on. OEX, a 70-foot sailboat, did a mayday call about 2 o'clock last night that they had water intrusion coming in their rudder post. They couldn't control it and asked for assistance. Pyewacket, a 68-foot sailboat owned by Roy Pat Disney, who's done about 25 of these races, they responded, which are required to do under racing rules. And at 2:30, they arrived on the scene. OEX crew had abandoned ship. They were in life rafts, 9, crew of 9. They were rescued by Pyewacket, who's got a crew of 10 on board. OEX sank at 3 a.m. And Pyewacket is turned around and is headed back with the OEX crew to Marina Del Rey, California. Their home port, and expect to get in sometime between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. They were about 200 nautical miles offshore at the time of the incident.
So they were coming toward about how much longer did they have to go before the end of the race? I mean, they were coming all the way.
2,000 miles.
Yeah, so they had just gotten underway.
Yeah, they started on Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock. We have 90 entries. But they are different sizes and different speeds, so we have 3 different days of starts. So the first wave started last Wednesday at 1 o'clock in Los Angeles time. The second wave started on Friday, and the third wave, which is the largest monohulls and all the big fast trimarans and catamarans, started Saturday afternoon.
Is there any video of that first incident?
I don't know yet. It would have been very dark. I understand it was like 20 knots and big seas. You know, all of the focus, I'm pretty sure, was on recovering safely the crew.
Any idea on, you mentioned that rudder damage as well as the sinking, any idea why we've seen so many boats be damaged so far this year?
Well, getting off the coast this year, the first couple nights out, the wind was pretty strong and big waves, and that works hard against the rudders, and a lot of the boats keep powering up and bigger sail plans and just equipment failure. Now, we did have another incident last night, and that was Maserati, a 70-foot trimaran. It's done the race several times, and they, in the middle of the night, struck what they said was a very large object, and it collapsed the front of the port bow on their port alma, and then whatever they hit banked down the left side of the boat and clipped the wing on the rudder. It's a foiling trimaran, so they've got foils with wings on both the rudders and their dagger boards. And they did stop for about an hour, pulled out the old rudder, looked at it, put it back into that wing. So they're continuing to race. They just, they're doing a little over 21 knots now, but that's not as fast as their sister ships because of the damage foiling. So they're sailing carefully, but they're going pretty fast. They just did a press conference that's up on YouTube. It's an Italian crew, so it is in Italian, but there are English subtitles, so everybody can go to YouTube and hear live from the skipper and the crew. They were all interviewed just now.
So just for clarification, when you're talking about these boats, so some of the damage that they sustain is because they're really pushing the boats and the technology to the limits because they're trying to get the most speed.
Sure, and in Maserati's case, they had a more northerly track than most of the fleet, so they might have gotten a little closer to the garbage patch. We did hear from some of the boats that are on a more southerly track that said they were seeing less debris this year than in past races. A couple of races ago with the Japanese tsunami, people saw quite a bit of things on our race course, but the garbage patch is normally farther north than the traditional race course.
So OEX, we're not exactly sure what caused.
No, we have not heard yet, but It was, they did not strike something, is what we were told. So it was probably just a structural failure.
And then you mentioned debris that's in the water is kind of something that they have to deal with every year. Some years, some more or less. What's the hazard? What's the danger of having? You mentioned the garbage patch. Why is that a problem for sailors?
Well, there's lots of things in the water, logs, sunken containers. I remember after the Japanese tsunami a couple of years, people saw a submerged Japanese house. They sailed close by. During the day, sometimes you can avoid it, but these boats are going very fast, so they don't have a lot of time to react. At night, it's very dark and you can't see this stuff. And the boats, the fastest boats are going very, very fast. Now, a lot of these boats anticipate that. So, like Maserati's got 7 basically tanks. They're self-teaming. So if they have a accident, they can stay mobile. Even OEX put a bow tank on to protect them this year, but they didn't strike anything, so that didn't help.
Will there be any attempt to recover the vessel that sank?
Well, I understand it sank, so
It's gone.
it's probably a total loss.
The bow tank that you're talking about is that just another like cap on the front of the boat that would absorb the impact, kind of like a bumper?
No, it's designed if they structurally collapse the front. There's a reinforced tank back, that provides buoyancy in that case. And a lot of the race boats are doing that.
Is this about average number of boats to drop out at this time in the race, or is this more than normal, or?
Well, it's a record year. We had 90 starters, and our record in the past was 80. So we're down about 8 or 9%. Yeah, but we've never had this many retirements this early in the race.
How we have all this new technology. These boats are super fast and well equipped, but there is still that danger, obviously, sinking of the boat. How dangerous is it still to cross the Pacific? How big of an accomplishment is it?
It's a big bucket race for a lot of people, but most of these crews have done the race before. The board of directors, safety is paramount. This is the first time we've actually ever lost a yacht that I can remember. We've never lost any crew in the race. We have very, very stringent safety standards with respect to lifelines, jack lines for people to snap into harnesses, life jackets, life rafts, EPIRBs, which are satellite transponders to locate the boats. And the boats all have transponders just for the race administrators, so we can track everybody. And it's up on the YB Tracker website. If people go to the YB Tracker app site, they can download and just go to the Transpac 2019 race, and then you can watch all the boats on a 4-hour delay until they get 200 nautical miles out.
When are the first boats expected to arrive to the race?
We expect the first trimaran in a couple days.
2 days.
And probably about 2 more days, and then probably on Thursday, the first of the 100-footer monohulls. Then most of the boats will come in Friday night or this weekend. It's the way it's looking. It's pretty.
And then, so I don't know, how does that compare to years past? Good? With winds and seas, is it a good fast year for racing this year?
It's a good fast year for the guys that started on Wednesday. The fleet that started on Saturday fought a little Catalina eddy off the west coast getting out, and it remains to be seen if Comanche, who's got the course record in the monohulls, will beat last race's record-setting 5 days, 1 hour and 50 minutes.
And then just for the record, first name, last name, spell it for us, and title.
Bowheeler, Bowheeler, Staff Commodore, Trans-Pacific Yacht Club.
Oh, you mentioned those, the addition to the bow, or the reinforced bow, or the extra bow compartment. I assume that's fairly new when it comes to these racing boats, or is it, actually let me ask you this, is there anything new that these crews are using to help them as they get across the Pacific?
Well, there's always new technology, and they always try and make the boats lighter. A lot of carbon fiber rigs, exotic sail cloth materials, and They tend to try and put as much sail power up on the rigs as they can, and they try and go as light as they can. So you could have some engineers get it wrong. A little time that it's like race cars, right? Where they keep making them lighter and faster, and they could break. So they're on the edge, but that's why we have all the safety gear. And most of these guys are all recovering on their own to either get back here or keep sailing. When they have issues.
Okay. Anything else that we didn't ask you that you want us to know?
Well, we encourage the community to come down and support the finishes. A lot of the boats will be tied up right here on the traditional row 500 Transpac row, and over at Hawaii Yacht Club and Waikiki Yacht Club. There are parties at the clubs next Wednesday and Thursday night, and our award ceremonies at the Hawaii Convention Center a week from Friday at 4:30. And we have beautiful, beautiful trophies that are awarded, perpetuals, and we encourage people to come.
Where's the actual finish line?
Oh, that's the traditional finish is between the Diamond Head Lighthouse and Diamond Head Buoy. We have people on station up in the lighthouse that sight the finish line, and that's been the traditional finish since 1906.
That's what I was going to say. The 50th anniversary of the race itself, but this is an every 2-year event, so we're talking 100 years of racing here.
Correct. And just a couple races were missed during the war years.
And you said this is the first time in 100 years that you've ever lost a vessel?
I believe so.
And one more question. Let's talk about how the public can volunteer or participate in the Aloha Welcome of all of the racers.
Oh, sure. We have a website, www.transpacificyachtclub.com, and click on there to be a volunteer. You have parties for each of the boats that come in. People can volunteer to help host the party. It's very unique for Transpac that every boat gets its own Aloha greeting party. That's been going on forever.
600 volunteers. The website is 2019.transpacYC.com.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.